Are you doing a Bronco restoration? Let me give you some tips.
What do you do on a rainy day? You work on your truck. Well, I wanted to ask you how you were building your Bronco, because I'm starting this boxwood green Bronco. It's painted, it's on the chassis. Now that you've got your Bronco and you're putting it back together, what choices are you making?
A lot of people are building trucks these days and have different viewpoints, different things that they're doing. And even you and I are doing different stuff between our two trucks. And it's been a while because I've been building mine for 4 years. And so it's been a while since we've gone through some of the things that I've been doing. You probably forgot, even though you helped me with some of them. You've forgotten what I did.
I still need to finish your dash. John decided to put in his air conditioning system in his dash. So that created a whole nother concept. So he put one round, these are really cool. These are billet round AC things. So he won't see any AC unit below his dash. He's putting another one that has like two here in the middle. In order to get a vent on this side to balance that side, John wanted the glove box moved all the way over. And you can see there's the ashtray, the glove box, and no speaker grill. So we had to use that space. And over here, we moved it so we can put in the vent here. But this is going to look really clean. There won't be anything hanging out below the dash. I am doing something a little different on my dash. We made a dash tray for the bottom of it that holds all the wires and everything up.
So nice.
Even if they fell, they would fall into this tray that's about, I don't know, 6 inches deep.
That's a great idea.
It's got a little lip and holds everything up in there.
I have not worked on anything Bronco in months, but hoping to have some time here in November and December to get some time and try to finish the truck. What do you want to know?
I know we did different undercoating things because you did a video on your undercoating. So my customer on his boxwood green truck, he wanted it black. But what's cool is the frame is this hammer tone powder coated gray. It's all these different grays. So you can still see the frame against the black, but you did something even cooler.
Yeah, I wanted to go with more of the color of the truck, and so that it really made the black pop. You got a black axle, powder coated black axle. We got powder coated black frame. Most of your suspension is black. Most of the stuff under there is going to be black. And so I wanted that to kind of pop when you looked under the truck. I'm painting mine boxwood green, and I went with a boxwood green Raptor liner, but it ended up being a little bit dark, which I think is actually going to turn out kind of cool because it'll kind of trick your eye into thinking that it's just shaded, even though it'll be a shade darker of what I'm going to go with.
Well, how the Raptor liner works is you mix 16 ounces of your paint, whether it's metallic, but the Raptor liner has no shine, so it doesn't reflect any light. And there's that new black paint. I don't know if you heard it. It's like Infinity Black. It doesn't reflect any light, so it looks like a hole. And the Raptor liner kind of does the same thing. It doesn't reflect light, so it's always going to look darker.
Well, I still think what you did on the Panama build with the red oxide paint is a super cool way to make that just pop even more, because your truck is that Wimbledon white and then having that red oxide underneath. It looks classic, and I think it looks really well done.
You always see people's feet sticking out from underneath the truck, and they're just looking up. All the colors. What suspension did you use?
I went with the Tom's Off-Road 2.5-inch lift with the Bilstein 5160s. That's what I have on my green truck. I love how it drives. The Tom's Off-Road rear leaf pack is real soft, but it's not just too soft, so it's all sloppy. Like, it feels really nice, and then the Bilsteins are really nice under there as well. And I think that's a good driver suspension. I think 2.5 inches is right where, it looks nice with a good pair of 33s or 35-inch tires. And I'm going uncut in the back, so I'm going to do some skinny tires that will fit up in that rear fender. But I think that just looks nicer uncut with a little bit of a lift. I think that's how it should have come from the factory.
I do think if you're going to do the 2.5-inch lift, you need to do the 7-degree axle bushings for your Dana 44 in the front. If you want that caster, because it's the difference between being able to drive 60 or 70 miles an hour, and you need more caster the faster you go.
Those are the C bushings that kind of hold the axle in place. A lot of people are like, oh, with a 2.5-inch lift, you only need 4-degree bushings. But if you take your Bronco into any alignment shop, they'll give you a caster reading, and a lot of them try to get your caster to, I think it's -2 degrees is where the alignment shop wants it. But I think you should go even further than that, especially on an early Bronco. Having it around that -4 mark is a sweet spot for the tires coming back to center and you being able to cruise down the road.
Ironically, we just took the Panama to the alignment rack.
Alignment shop.
I got the report on it, and with the 4-degree casters and the 2.5-inch lift, I was still positive.
Oh, wow.
So we put the 7 degrees in there, and I came back to about 3 degrees.
Yep.
And even more would be better,
right?
Because the faster you want to drive it. But the reality is 2.5-inch kit, I would definitely do the 7 degree.
Absolutely.
Are you still doing the 302, like a vintage 302 with an EFI?
Last time we talked, you were breaking down your budget. Like we had a whole episode where we talked about budget and you were like, oh yeah, I spent $6,000 on the engine rebuild. And I was like, wait, what?
6,500.
6,500. And I was like, I could go to Blueprint and get a brand new engine for 8,000. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's the way I'm leaning. I haven't bought anything yet, but I literally at this point have 3 302s. All of them need some level of being rebuilt. Instead of spending that money, because my hope is to sell this so that the person who's going to buy it has a warranty, you know, with the engine from Blueprint. That to me is more valuable than me trying to just rebuild an engine.
You end up spending less money building it yourself and buying everything than you do just from Blueprint. Their volume's so high. It's like, oh, how can they do it for that? But everything's machined. Everything's new. It's been dynoed already. It's been run up. And I did the same thing with the C4 transmission. I just took it to Coleman Taylor, a national transmission chain, and paid them the $3,200 or $3,500, and I got a 3-year warranty with it.
Really?
It goes with the truck. So
yeah, that's the way to do it. So you did a C4 in Panama. What are you doing in the Boxwood Green?
You can do AODs, you can do 4R70Ws, you can do this combination where you put 4R70W parts in an AOD. So we're going to definitely do an automatic overdrive, not positive which way we're going. Not electronic though. We're just going to keep it kind of basic, but it'll still be overdrive.
I have the 4R70W with the Quick 4, I think Quick 6, the US shift controller.
Oh yeah.
So I am doing electronic. I will probably do, I really like my Edelbrock ProFlow 4. And so I'll probably put that on the restoration as well, just because it works so well. I haven't had to do anything to it, you know, and it just works. So I'll probably do that. So I think I'm doing electronic overdrive, but with the 4R70, I mentioned the Edelbrock ProFlow because a lot of times you couldn't do an electronic transmission with the carburetor. You need something that is telling the computer when to shift and
the transmission.
And all that. The transmission on the computer.
The cool thing about the Edelbrock ProFlow is it has injector rails. And that makes it work really well.
It's port injection instead of throttle body injection.
Right. So it's not as simple as putting a throttle body on. You need the intake. It's all part of it. I just saw a picture of a Holley version of that has fuel rails. So they're coming around to that also. I've installed tons of snipers. So I have a Sniper EFI going on mine, but the ProFlow is like a fantastic option.
You have to upgrade your fuel system. And so on the restoration, I've done that, and I'm going with a 23-gallon stainless steel tank. So Tom's Off-Road has a 23-gallon stainless steel. You're less prone to rust in the future, and you know, you can paint it any color you want. I'll probably paint mine black. Just having that stainless steel option, I feel like, is a nice upgrade to that 23-gallon tank.
We were talking about doing the hidden costs of EFI.
Yeah.
Are we doing that now?
No, that'll be that's in the future. But
that was an idea you had.
Stick around for that.
Yeah, that's that. Because that's an episode in itself. You don't just buy the EFI and throw it on top. It doesn't work that way.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, there's so
we'll
many
do that in
things.
a future episode. I don't know if we did the same thing in brakes or not. What did you do?
I ended up going with Tom's Off-Road's 4-wheel disc brake kit. It's a nice upgrade. If I did it again, I think I would just do discs in the front and drums in the back. I don't feel like having disc in the rear. I just don't think it's that important. It's not that critical. It does look nice, you know, like if you can see the disc in the back, but I just don't think that it's a necessary upgrade, a necessary place to upgrade.
The amount of work that it takes to convert the rear to disc brakes is a lot more work.
More.
The fronts just switch out.
Right.
I mean, it's because, you know, they accept disc brakes anyway. Some of them had disc brakes in the front, but the rears, you've got these, in many cases, not Willwoods, but in most of the kits that are out there, you've got a parking brake to adjust.
Right.
And you cannot get the brakes bled if you don't get that parking brake lever oriented correctly. Here's what's funny is we did that on the Panama, put the disc brakes and bled them 15 times.
Yeah.
And now they're almost touchy, which I like.
Oh, nice.
They're fantastic. You haven't driven it since we did that. But that's how long it took. And we're talking take the wheels off, readjust the brakes, put it back together, bleed it again. Do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just excessive. But in the end, it's got four-wheel disc brakes. They work great. But like the Willwood system doesn't have that. It's an easy four-wheel disc brake conversion. But then we did 2 other trucks where we did the disc brakes on the front. We didn't even rebuild the back drums, and the brakes were amazing.
Worked great.
Like,
I know.
The JT took his truck up the hill, and he went to touch the brake for the speed bump and pitched himself into the windshield, and then giggled about it.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never had a Bronco with brakes before.
They work.
But I remember when he delivered the truck, he went right past the shop down the hill because he couldn't stop. In the future, I would only do the fronts and keep the drums in the back.
I'm putting everything back together and going to start working on interior stuff and interior trim, and then, you know, some of the exterior stuff. One of the things that I wanted to do from the beginning was I wanted to route the wiring harness outside of the engine bay. Like I wanted the engine bay just to look clean, where the engine is the star. And when you pop the hood, it's not just like all these random wires everywhere, especially for someone who may not be as much of a car guy. When they pop the hood, like that can be super intimidating when you see all these hoses and wires and you're like, oh God, what do I do with all this? Well, Tom's Off-Road came out with these little trays that go underneath the wheel well.
Between the fender, the inner and outer fender, amazing. It cleans the bay up so much.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually run everything that I can. I'm still trying to figure out what I can run out there, but I'm going to have to make new AC compressor lines. I'm going to have to make new, a bunch of new lines. Some of them I'm not going to be able to move out. But what I'm going to try to do is back behind the air cleaner, run everything that's attached to the engine into the firewall right there, and then have it come around in between the inner and outer fender, and then back into the engine there. You know, rocks aren't flying up there. You're not getting water and just gunk up there. And so I can run those wires and not be afraid of them getting damaged while you're driving down the road.
That's a cool idea.
Interior wise, I'm still kind of going back and forth on what I want to do with the interior. One of the things that I did a while ago was I just kind of looked at a lot of auctions. I noticed that the trucks that were going for more money, it didn't matter what engine and transmission it was. It didn't matter what lift and tire size it was. The biggest factor that I saw that changed the price was actually the interior detail. The guys who had a Coyote engine with like a basic black interior, those trucks went for $70,000. But the guys that had super nice custom interior, those trucks would go for $200,000. Interior is one of the things that I can't save money on. Like I just need to do it well and do it nice. And I was even looking at your Panama carpet. I need to imitate that. Where'd you get that?
So it's funny. I was looking for floor mats.
Yeah.
Because the floor's white in the truck. And it's like, look, I really just need to protect the paint where your feet are. I got these door guards that are cool, that are black, and they say Bronco on them.
Yeah.
So when you step in and out of the truck, it protects the paint at the rocker. And then I got those.
Dennis Carpenter, right?
I think everybody's on. Yeah. Carpenter has them. Tom's Off-Road has them.
Yeah.
The floor mats, I was looking online. There's this company called AOC Auto.
Huh.
And I don't know what that stands for, but I ordered the mats and I got this really nice, tight, like German pile looking weave, and it's kind of caramel and the edges are done, and they embroidered Bronco in script, just like the side of the truck, in brown. It doesn't say Bronco here, but in a darker brown to match the steering wheel. And they were like $158 shipped to me. And I got the 2 front mats and the 2 rear floor mats. So in hindsight, I would get 1 full length floor mat for the rear.
Yeah.
But the front floor mats tie the seats to the interior, protect the paint.
Yep.
And they were a bargain.
Yeah, this is really nice. Like I was looking at them and I was like, man, like that's a great quality. What'd you call this?
It's a tight pile.
Tight pile.
Isn't it?
You're a tight pile. Yeah, I really like it. I think it looks great.
And we got them. This is funny. They came from Dalton, Georgia. Like 4 days they were on the doorstep. I couldn't believe it.
So I'm not sure what all I'm going to do. Obviously, redoing the dash, getting AC in there, and just trying to do some custom touches like that make it look nice, but still feel original, still look original, but look quality.
I'm kind of the opinion less is more. So on the Wimbledon white truck, you know, we did uncut, didn't put giant tires on it, but in the interior, we tried to keep everything off the dash we could, nothing extra.
Yeah.
We put the speaker behind the speaker grill.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't even seen it. I have to show it to you. We went with a USB sound system.
Nice.
So the amp is on that tray under the column. So you can't see any of that.
That's cool.
There's no radio on the dash. You've just got this little tiny 4-button controller. Then we put the subwoofer under the back seat and made brackets.
Nice.
And there are 4 holes back there. If you do the Tom's Off-Road roll and tumble seat, they don't use the original holes.
Oh, right.
So we made an amp bracket that uses the 4 holes. And when you click the seat down, you can't see the amp.
That's
Sorry,
perfect.
It's not an amp. The subwoofer.
Subwoofer.
You can't see it at all.
That's perfect.
So we used 3 of the holes, and the 4th hole we ran the wires through. And then the speakers are painted to match the door panels or the quarter panels on the interior. The whole system's stealth, can't see it. Interior wise, we went with the same seats you did. We used the Tom's Off-Road vertical stripes, and had the diamonds been out when I bought those, I would have done that. Exterior trim wise, are you going black? Are you going chrome? Are you going to do the sport trim around it?
I think I'm actually going to go no trim, but do the Ranger stripes at the bottom. I know Ranger would have had the sport trim on there, but I think I'm going to keep it clean, not do any sport trim, not do, see, and that's the thing. I don't know if I might do the chrome around the windows. So the gaskets that I've bought can take the sport trim, but I don't know if I'll put them in there. I'm going to see when it's all put together what it looks like and if I need to do it. Unlike yours, I love how yours looks with all the chrome. I'm not doing chrome on this one.
Yeah.
Like, not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, sometimes people go a little overboard with it, but it starts looking like a Harley. But yeah, so what are you doing on
the Boxwood green truck is a customer's truck, and he wants the sport trim, and he wants the big polished slotted mag wheels to go with it. And, you know, he had a picture of what he wanted. So we're doing the chrome around the grill.
Oh, yeah.
The inset where the color changed from Wimbledon white to Boxwood, and the chrome on the windshield. But I don't do any more chrome other than the badges.
You don't do it on the, is it a hard top?
I don't do the door frames, No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. There you go.
No roof. No. And I like the Boxwood green door frames and the Wimbledon white door frames, and but no graphics. He just wanted a little bit of chrome.
There you go.
A little bit of bling on the green, and that's it.
We love hearing about what you guys are working on. We love seeing all of your projects. So if you have any questions for us, or if you're working on a project, shoot us an email at questions@thebraumcast.com. We'd love to talk about some of the work that you're doing. And yes, freaking Lloyd Covington, we're going to go to your house at some point.